So in total, I spent $7,292 to become an Australian. Hi everybody, my name is Sally. I was born and raised in Hong Kong and I moved to Melbourne in 2006. In my last video, I shared with you my migration journey to Australia. Here's a link if you haven't seen it yet. And this time we will talk about money. First, I will share with you how much I spent on my TR, PR, and citizenship, and then I'll share my thought on hiring a migration agent. There are timestamps here, so you can skip ahead if you want to. If you find this video helpful, please subscribe so I can share more information about Australia and being a migrant with you in the future. So my TR subclass 489 skilled regional professional visa, I spent a total of $5,591. This visa is now replaced by subclass 491, but I believe the application requirements are quite similar. So in 2014, the application fee was $3,522, and now the fee has gone up to $4,045. So there is a 15% of inflation rate. The next expensive things of the visa was the medical examination, which cost $353. It included a chest x-ray, a blood test, and a physical examination to make sure I was a healthy human being. Luckily, I didn't have to do it again for my PR. The next thing is the IELTS exam, which sets you back $300 every time you sit for one. I made a mistake of doing it multiple times, trying to get a higher score. I was overconfident and did not prepare well for the writing and the speaking parts. So for reading and listening components, I scored 9 every time without any practice. But I could never achieve 8 in both speaking or writing in the same exam. So I could get a score of 8 in speaking or writing, but I could never achieve 8 in both parts at the same time. So please learn from my mistake and practice speaking and writing as much as you can, and don't be overconfident. Because in the IELTS exams, they have different criteria, and sometimes they are looking for vocabulary that you've used or certain sentence structures. So it was very different to all the other English exams I've had in high schools. So to prove that I was a qualified professional, I have to submit a skill assessment which cost $238. It was a piece of paper from my professional institute and I had no use of it afterward. So it was a very pricey piece of certificate. Health insurance was mandatory as part of the visa requirements and it cost roughly $100 per month. Also, I need to submit 2 police clearance. One from the Australian Police Force, which cost $42, and the other police clearance from Hong Kong, which cost $38. And the last expense on my TR application was the migration fee, which was $1,000. So altogether, I spent $5,591 on my TR. My PR subclass 887 skilled regional visa cost $1,412, and here's the breakdown. $374 for the application fee, $42 for the police clearance again, just to make sure I've been a good girl, $1,000 for the migration agent fee, so that was the biggest portion of the cost. Finally, citizenship, which cost $285, and that included the interview, the test, and the ceremony. So, all up, $7,292 for I to become an Australian. I'm not affiliated to any migration agency, so here are just my opinions. If I could do it all over again, I would still hire a migration agent to handle my TR and PR. It's like having an insurance just so that I will not do anything incorrectly. I did not want to make any mistake, even though my case was very simple. I was a single applicant with no spouse or child. I chose to hire the agent with a set fee so I know what the expectation would be. It was nice to have someone who can answer all of my questions because I can get quite paranoid. Plus, I decided to use them again for my PR after my TR Because once you started the migration process with the agent, they will have all your information and documents. So it saved me time and energy to fill in all the paperwork. It is up to you to hire a migration agent or not. In hindsight, I could have done all the application by myself, and I'm quite confident that I will still get my TR and PR successfully. However, I do appreciate the fact that I don't have to worry about the detail or stress about submitting the documents. If you're tight on money and your case is simple, it is definitely worth doing it on your own, and that's what some of my friends did, and they got their PR just like I did. If your case is more complicated, it is definitely worth having a migration agent or other professional to help you through the process, because the immigration is very fussy on the fine detail, and you do not want to start your application on the wrong foot. For example, for my parents' sponsorship to move to Australia, I hired a migration agent to handle all the paperwork. And that's because the stake is much higher with a much more expensive application fee, and I didn't want to mess up any detail because the immigration is asking for a lot more evidence and information, like personal information about my uncles and aunties. Just be careful of scammers, because I've heard terrible stories of people losing money and got their visa rejected. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave a comments down below and I would love to hear from you. If you find this video helpful, please subscribe, and I would love to share more information and my life stories about being a migrant here in Australia. So good luck to you guys, and please stay safe.